Ladies and gentlemen, when you begin to approach the moments before sleep, something very subtle happens. The body starts to slow down, the mind becomes softer, and the barriers you normally hold up during the day begin to dissolve. This is not just rest. This is a sacred transition. It is the passage from the world of form into the world of the formless. During the day, you are awake, alert, constantly engaged with thoughts, tasks, conversations, responsibilities. Your conscious mind, like a vigilant guard, filters everything you encounter. But at night, as the mind grows quiet, the guard begins to lower its weapon. The gate to the deeper layers of your being slowly swings open. This is the moment of immense potential, for what you impress upon yourself here will bypass the filters and sink into the subconscious, the part of you that governs most of your life without your awareness. The subconscious does not argue, it does not debate, it does not rationalize, it accepts. It learns by repetition, by image, by feeling. Every time you fall asleep replaying the same memories, the same frustrations, the same self-doubts, you are feeding the subconscious with the same meal. And it digests it faithfully, weaving those thoughts and emotions into your body, into your identity, into the fabric of tomorrow. That is why so many people wake up with the same problems they fell asleep with, and why their lives continue in the same patterns day after day. But there is a possibility here that most overlook. If the subconscious accepts without judgment, then it also accepts visions of possibility, emotions of gratitude, and seeds of transformation. Before you let yourself drift into the unknown of sleep, you can choose to consciously plant something new. You can imagine the person you want to become. You can feel the emotions of a reality you have not yet lived but deeply desire. You can tell your subconscious a new story, and it will listen. Think of it as a fertile field. During the day, the soil is hard, guarded, resistant to new seeds. But at night, when the gate is open, that soil is moist and receptive. If you throw weeds into it, weeds will grow. If you scatter seeds of doubt, they will sprout. But if you place carefully chosen seeds of love, gratitude, and vision, they too will take root. When you awaken, you will not see the full tree, but the seed will have already begun to grow beneath the surface. This is why the time before sleep is so crucial. It is not just a pause between 2 days. It is the bridge where you can let go of the weight of who you were and whisper into the silence the truth of who you are becoming. If you practice this with sincerity and consistency, the subconscious will begin to accept this new direction as its reality. And what the subconscious believes, the body begins to follow, and the life around you begins to align. This is the hidden power of the gateway before sleep. Every morning when people wake up, they often feel as if they are stepping into something new. But if you look closely, most simply pick up the day exactly where they left off. The mind searches for yesterday. It recalls the same conversations, the same worries, the same challenges, and immediately the body is flooded with the same emotions. Anger, frustration, stress, sadness, whatever has been rehearsed again and again becomes the tone of a new day. Without realizing it, the person is no longer living a fresh morning, but merely repeating an old pattern. In this way, the past leaks into the present and the future, until life becomes a circle rather than a path forward. This is the cycle of predictability. You think the same thoughts, which trigger the same emotions, which lead to the same actions, which produce the same results. The results confirm your beliefs, and your beliefs once again shape your thoughts. The loop continues day after day, month after month, year after year. You may change your surroundings, switch jobs, meet new people, or even travel to new places, yet deep within you, the same script is running. And because that script is running, the story of your life remains unchanged. Breaking this cycle does not happen by accident. It requires awareness. When you recognize that your mind is simply playing back yesterday's tape, you have already taken the first step. To catch yourself repeating the same emotions before sleep, to notice that you are rehearsing the same old complaints, is to shine light on the program. And once light touches it, you are no longer fully under its control. The question then arises, how do you stop repeating yesterday? The answer is not in fighting the thoughts, not in forcing yourself to deny what you feel, but in choosing something different. You cannot erase the past, but you can stop feeding it. Instead of giving energy to the same stories, redirect that energy toward the future you want to experience. Replace the memory with vision, the complaint with gratitude, the worry with trust. Every time you do this, you weaken the grip of the past and strengthen the possibility of something new. It is much like a musician who has played the same tune for years. The fingers automatically find the familiar notes. The melody flows without thought. To learn a new piece of music, the musician must be willing to set aside the old rhythm and carefully place attention on the new one. At first it feels unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, but with practice the new melody becomes natural and the old one fades away. In the same way, your mind can be trained to no longer repeat yesterday's emotions and instead rehearse tomorrow's possibilities. When you stop carrying the same patterns to bed, you free yourself to wake up with a different energy. You no longer step into another version of yesterday, but into the freshness of today. The cycle breaks the moment you decide to no longer live as a memory of the past, but as a creator of the future. The mind is the stage where the future is first rehearsed. Every image that arises in your imagination, every scenario you allow to unfold behind closed eyes, has a direct effect on the body. When you imagine yourself trapped in problems, rehearsing arguments, or replaying disappointments, your body believes it is living those events all over again. The heart races, the muscles tighten, the nervous system reacts. This is why so many people feel exhausted by the time they wake up, because they fall asleep practicing stress. But the same mechanism that traps you can also liberate you. If the brain and body respond to imagined experiences as though they were real, then your imagination becomes the blueprint of your reality. Instead of endlessly feeding the mind with memories of what has already happened, you can give it visions of what is to come. The act of vividly imagining a different future is not daydreaming. It is training your entire system to expect and create something new. When you close your eyes and picture the life you want, it is not enough to see it faintly. You must step into it fully, as though it is happening in this very moment. See yourself in that environment, notice the details, hear the sounds, sense the colors, the movements. Allow yourself to feel the emotions you would naturally feel if you were already living in that reality. The joy of success, the peace of freedom, the gratitude of abundance. As you do this, neural pathways in the brain begin to fire in new patterns. The body starts to memorize a future event as though it has already occurred. This is how you begin to break away from the pull of the past. By imagining a different possibility, you create a map that the subconscious can follow. The more often you visit that inner landscape, the more familiar it becomes. Eventually, the brain will no longer distinguish between what was once just imagination and what is lived experience. The rehearsal becomes the reality. Consider an athlete who prepares for competition. Long before stepping onto the field, they close their eyes and visualize every move, every breath, every action. They imagine the feeling of winning, the sensation of their body moving in perfect harmony. And when the moment comes in reality, the body performs with precision, because it has already lived the event countless times in the theater of the mind. Your life is no different. you too can rehearse the reality you wish to live, and in doing so, prepare your mind and body to receive it. The imagination is not a place to escape from life, but a place to design it. Each night before sleep, when the conscious mind softens, step into the blueprint of your desired reality. Walk within it, breathe within it, feel within it. The more deeply you can inhabit that vision, the more naturally it will manifest in the world around you. Thoughts alone rarely have the power to transform a life. A thought is like a spark, brief and fleeting, but without fuel, it quickly fades away. What gives the spark its strength is emotion, because emotion is the language that speaks directly to the body. The body remembers feelings far more deeply than it remembers words. When you recall an event from years ago, it is not the exact sentences or the details that remain vivid. It is the way you felt in that moment. Joy, fear, sadness, love, these impressions sink deep into your biology and shape who you believe yourself to be. This is why when you want to create change, it is not enough to think about a better future, you must feel it. If you only repeat affirmations without connecting to any real emotion, the body does not listen. The subconscious mind responds when thought and feeling merge into one. Intention sets the direction, but emotion is what drives it into the depths of your being. Imagine holding a vision of abundance. If you simply repeat to yourself, "I am abundant," while feeling lack, the words and the feelings are in conflict, and the body will always follow the feeling. But if you close your eyes and allow yourself to feel gratitude, as if the abundance were already here, your body begins to experience that future in the present. The nervous system calms, the heart opens, and the chemistry of your body changes to match the reality you are rehearsing. Gratitude is especially powerful because it signals to the body that something has already happened. When you are grateful for an outcome that has not yet occurred, you trick the subconscious into believing it is real. Love works in the same way. When you generate feelings of love and compassion, you create coherence in the body. You become magnetic, broadcasting a signal that attracts circumstances aligned with those emotions. This is the essence of reprogramming, to embody the feeling of the future before it physically arrives. The body then learns to live in that state, and soon your actions, decisions, and perceptions begin to shift naturally. You stop reacting from fear and start responding from trust. You stop waiting for something external to change your inner world, and instead let your inner world reshape the external. Every night before sleep, when you step into your imagined reality, bring with it the emotions that belong to that vision. Don't just see yourself healthy, feel the vitality coursing through you. Don't just imagine success, feel the gratitude of already living it. Don't just visualize love, allow your heart to expand with the warmth of it. In this way, thought and emotion merge into a single command to the subconscious: "This is who I am." Over time, the body learns this new identity. And once the body knows, the mind follows, and the outer world begins to reflect what you have long practiced within. Every human being is constantly sending out a signal. It is not something you consciously switch on or off. It is the natural byproduct of your inner state. The thoughts you dwell upon, the emotions you rehearse, the beliefs you embody, all of these generate a field of energy around you. Others may not see it with their eyes, but they can feel it. You yourself have walked into a room and immediately sensed tension or warmth, even before a word was spoken. That is the influence of the field. It is subtle, yet it shapes so much of what unfolds in life. When you go to bed carrying the weight of stress, anger, or fear, you fall asleep broadcasting a signal of survival. That frequency draws to you situations that keep confirming the same emotions. You meet the same kind of people, face the same kind of challenges, repeat the same kind of stories. Life begins to mirror the very vibration you carry. But when you choose instead to fall asleep, rehearsing the future you desire, aligning thought with elevated emotion, the field around you begins to shift. You are no longer broadcasting the frequency of the past, you are broadcasting the frequency of your future. This is not imagination without consequence, it is a real energetic alignment. As you embody gratitude for opportunities not yet seen, as you generate love for connections not yet made, as you cultivate trust in outcomes not yet manifested, you are sending out a signal in the field of possibility, and the field responds. It begins to reorganize, drawing toward you circumstances, people, and events that resonate with the energy you are sustaining. It is much like tuning a radio. If you keep your dial set to the frequency of lack, you will only ever hear the songs of scarcity. If you tune to fear, you will hear nothing but stories of danger. But if you carefully tune to abundance, love, and gratitude, the music that reaches you will be entirely different. The opportunities, the insights, the synchronicities that arrive will match the new station you are broadcasting from. This is why it is said that you don't get what you want, you get what you are. To want something but to feel the opposite is to send out mixed signals. The field does not respond to your words, it responds to your energy. Only when your thoughts and feelings are aligned with your desired reality do you become magnetic to it. Each night before you surrender to sleep, you are given a choice: to broadcast the familiar energy of your past, or to send out the frequency of your future. If you practice the latter with consistency, the field cannot help but reorganize around you. Life begins to flow in unexpected ways. People appear at the right time, opportunities open effortlessly, and you recognize that the outer world is nothing more than a reflection of the energy you have chosen to embody. When you awaken in the morning, you are not simply opening your eyes to another day. You are stepping into the continuation of the story you wrote the night before. If you went to bed carrying the memories of the past, then the body wakes up already prepared to relive them. The same emotions arise, the same thoughts surface, the same actions follow. Nothing new has been created, only the familiar has been repeated. But if you drifted into sleep rehearsing a different possibility, embodying gratitude and love for a reality not yet seen, then the body awakens with a new instruction. The subconscious has been taught during the night to recognize a different identity, and you rise in the morning already leaning into that version of yourself. This is the beauty of consistent practice. The mind is always training the body, and the body in turn shapes how you meet the day. If you have spent years teaching the body stress, worry, and limitation, then of course it feels natural to wake up in those states. But when you begin each evening by embodying the future little by little, the body forgets the old programs. It starts to feel more comfortable in joy than in stress, more natural in gratitude than in doubt, more at home in love than in fear. And when that shift occurs, the morning no longer greets you as the echo of yesterday, but as the doorway into something entirely new. Waking up as your future self does not mean that all of your outer circumstances have immediately changed. What it means is that the inner chemistry of your body, the rhythm of your thoughts, and the tone of your emotions have already shifted to match the reality you have chosen. You carry yourself differently, you speak differently, you respond differently. Opportunities that you would have overlooked suddenly become visible. People who resonate with your new energy appear. Choices you once avoided feel natural. You are no longer walking in the footsteps of the person you used to be. You are paving a new path for the person you are becoming. It is important to remember that transformation is not a single event, but a steady unfolding. Each morning you rise with intention, you reinforce the new identity. Each night you rehearse your future before sleep, You plant seeds that grow stronger roots. Eventually, the old self, held together by years of repetition, begins to dissolve, and the new self becomes the dominant expression. So when you wake tomorrow, ask yourself not, "What must I do today?" but "Who am I choosing to be today?" Because if you step into the morning as the future version of yourself, then the day ahead cannot help but reflect it back to you. Life will meet you at the level of the identity you embody, and in that moment you will realize that you are no longer waking up inside the prison of your past. You are waking up in a new reality, one you have consciously created.